Good day, my little robins. It's me, Beth. Another week has passed, which means you get another video from me here on this channel. If you haven't already read the title, yesterday I'm bringing you guys my top 10 Hollywood dead songs. And I know you're probably seeing updated in the title and in the description, because in 2016, so pretty much 5 years ago, I made this video on my channel and I picked my 10 favourite Hollywood Undead songs. And, well, you know, like I've said, 5 years have passed. They've released 3 more albums, they've released an EP, and so I thought, why not revisit my top 10 Hollywood Undead songs? But I have gone about it scientifically, and I will explain, you know, when the video starts. But before we begin, if you want to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified of when I upload on this channel. Enough rambling, let's just dive straight into Hollywood Undead. Now, what I mean by science is I went to Spotify because Hollywood Undead were my artist of the decade, and from 2016 onwards they have always cracked my top 5 artists of the year, except 2020 I believe was the first time they were either 4th or 5th, and they weren't in my top 2 because all the Japanese bands that dominated my 2020. But each year Spotify do make a playlist of like your 100 most played songs, and so I thought I would go back through all those like 2016 to 2020 wrapped, because 2021 has yet to come to an end, and I wrote down all the Hollywood Dead songs and the albums that like appeared on my top 100, and then I did like a tally system on how many times those songs popped up over the course of the Spotify Wraps, and I got a brand new top 10 Hollywood Undead songs. I've got my notes. 1, 2, 3, 4 songs from the original top 10 made it onto my new top 10, so there are 6 songs that apparently I listen to more than when I did back in the day. I'm going to do a bit of a spoiler or a heads up, because I know there are some Hollywood Undead fans that love New Empire Volume 1 and Volume 2. Unfortunately, and well, not really unfortunately, you know my opinions on those albums, no songs from those 2 albums made it onto this list. No songs from Palms, the EP, made it onto the list, which really surprised me because I could have sworn I listened to that EP a lot. But yeah, so this has gone through my Spotify data, so these are my official top 10 Hollywood Undead songs updated. I will share with you briefly the original list. Okay, and at number 10 was Paradise Lost, amazing song. Number 9 was Lion from Notes from the Underground. Then we had Kill Everyone from Notes from the Underground. We then had The Diary, Swan Songs, Gravity from the Day of the Dead album, Black Dahlia from Swan Songs, Party by Myself by Day of the Dead, Dead Bite, yeah, because those 2 songs make sense right next to each other, This Love, This Hate from the Swan Songs album, and Bullet from American Tragedy was my number 1 Hollywood Undead song back in 2016. So yeah, let's just dive straight into my new top 10 Hollywood Undead updated list. Be in for some surprises. Coming in at number 10 is Whatever It Takes off the album V or 5. When I made this original video back in 2016, the 5 album hadn't come out. So for everyone that's watched that video and gone, why haven't you put any songs from 5 on there? The album wasn't out. And as you can see, I am repping the tour shirt from the 5 tour back in 2018. I've got my Hollywood Undead beanie. I was not a fan of the 5 album, if I'm being completely honest. Whatever It Takes was one of the only songs I actually gravitated towards, which is probably why it made it onto like my number 10 spot. But Riot and California Dreaming definitely grew on me, especially when I heard them live. And especially since the release of like New Empire Volume 1 and Volume 2, 5 has definitely gone up in my books. So yeah, Whatever It takes my number 10 spot. Number 9 is Mother Murder from American Tragedy. I don't really know how to explain why this song made it onto my top 10 list. I feel like you have to be in like a certain mood or like emotion to actually listen to this song and feel something. So I know there are quite a few Hollywood Undead fans that actually really like Mother Murder, and I'm hoping that some of you watching can understand what I'm getting at, like at the emotion and the feelings that kind of go into liking this song, because I can't really get the words out, but you have to feel something to like this song. It's also catchy, and yeah, American Tragedy. It's a good album. It just wasn't my #1 Hollywood Undead album. If you want to watch my my ranking for my Hollywood Undead albums, I will leave a link at the end of this video. I haven't updated it, so there's no 5. No, there is 5. There is 5, but there's no New Empire Volume 1 and Volume 2. Link at the end. Coming in at number 8 is Gravity off the Day of the Dead album. Now, this song has dropped because on 2016 list, it was my number 6 song. It is now number 8, which means I'm not listening to it as much as I once did. And Gravity is one of those songs that if you ask most Hollywood Undead fans, like new and old, Gravity just seems to be like a go-to song because you, especially with the video, you got to see like a little bit of like all the band. I also really like the Day of the Dead album because it was the last album with like the Curls. Oh, love him. Miss him, but you know, the band is better now that, you know, he's doing his own thing. So yeah, Gravity. It's an amazing song and I'm happy it made it onto my top 10. Coming in at number 7 is Kill Everyone from Notes from the Underground album. Now, originally in 2016, this was actually my number 8. It is now 7, so that has dropped one. It hasn't really moved much in placement, but Kill Everyone is the go-to like meme song of Hollywood Undead. You know, you've seen the meme with like the little chihuahua looking all cute, and like the caption is Danny in every Hollywood Undead song looking really cute, and then Danny in Kill Everyone, and it's like the chihuahua baring its fangs because Danny is just like a whole other animal in the song. Again, catchy, Hollywood Undead, yes, 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 yes. Kill Everyone, I'm happy that, you know, it's still on the list from 2016 because we all had those moments where we want to let out some stress, let out some anger, and you just want to kill everyone. Before we hit the top 6, I know it's normally your top 5, I'm going to do another little spoiler. For those of you who aren't fan of Swan Song's album, 5 of the next 6 songs are from Swan Songs because apparently that's my go-to Hollywood Undead album, so suck it up if you don't like the album. Personally, it's a nostalgia clickbait throwback. Coming in at number 6 is Young from the album Swan Songs. Now, I personally think over the last couple of years, like, the world has been going to like crap, like politics-wise, Brexit. We've got a really crappy government who seem to be like really into crapping on like millennials and like the generation like beneath millennials. And so I think Young is one of those like anthem songs that, you know, a lot of people can like relate to like emotionally. And I believe it's one of Hollywood Undead's songs that came out in 2008 that had relevance back then. But if you're listening to it now in like 2019, like 2020, 2021, it has the exact same relevance. And when a song can transcend over like 10 plus years, you know that song is golden. Yes, yes, yes. Coming in at number 5, ironically, is number 5 from Swan Songs. Yes, 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 we're on to the Swan Song section like I already mentioned. Again, great song, catchy, you know, it has some relevance now as it did back in the day, which is why I believe I've been listening to it. But also Swan Songs is a guilty pleasure album. Actually, there's no guilt. I love Swan Songs. It's my number 1 Hollywood Undead album. I like Danny, but there's something about that song that just hits hard with like nostalgia. I was in high school, I was kind of discovering myself, and I found Hollywood Undead. Not through this song, but through the next song. Coming in at number 4 is Everywhere I Go from Swan Songs. If you guys have seen Hollywood Undead live, this song always makes the set list and the fans know it word for word, so when Charlie comes on stage, he just has to stand there and watch the fans sing the song back at him. For me, this is the song that got me into Hollywood Undead. This is the first song of theirs I heard, and ever since I heard this song, we all know that Charlie C has got a weenie that he likes to show. This was back in the day when Hollywood Undead, I would say, compared to maybe Empire Volume 1 and Volume 2, were a little bit more brash, crude, a bit rude, a bit sexist, and I love it. So Everywhere I Go is a staple Hollywood Undead song, and it's kind of a crime that I didn't put it on my list in 2016, because maybe I thought it was a cliche, but apparently according to Spotify it is a good cliche. Coming in at number 3 is Pain off the Swan Songs album. Now, I feel like this is like a really underrated song on the Swan Songs album, and I'm not quite sure, like I'm going back in my head, because I know they released like 2 to 3 different versions of this album. You had the American album, But I don't know if you had, I know you had the UK edition, because I had the UK edition that had like a few extra songs. I'm unsure if they released like a third edition for like Europe, or the UK one was the Europe one. But I feel like there are songs on the Swan Songs album that get overlooked, and Pain is probably their first time that I listened to a song and went, okay, this is gut-wrenching, I feel it in my chest, this is emotional, this is raw, this is angry, and Pain is such an underrated song. If you guys haven't heard it after this video, just go listen to it. Just listen to the whole Swan Songs album and, you know, you won't be disappointed. But there are certain Hollywood Undead songs that need a lot more love and attention, and Pain is one of them. Coming in at number 2, ending the 5 run in a row of Swan Songs, is Black Dahlia. This was on my 2016 list. It was number 5. So it has gone up 3 places to my number 2 spot, and honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I am really unsure why it's jumped that high, because if anything, I've listened to Young and number 5 more than Black Dahlia. Maybe I've had it where I've accidentally pressed like repeat, because you can do that. On Spotify you have like the option of like play, pause, go to the next song, go back a song, shuffle, or play the same song over again. So maybe instead of pressing shuffle, I pressed it twice and it's repeated the song. Black Dahlia, by far an amazing song. I'm just really unsure how it beat the other songs from Swan Songs to get it this high, but yeah, Black Dahlia, Swan Songs. Let's move on to my number 1 Hollywood Undead song. And clinching the number 1 top 10 Hollywood Undead song for 2021 is Bullet off the album American Tragedy. Now this was my number 1 Hollywood Undead song back in 2016, and the fact that it's still number 1 statistically now, like with all like the Spotify science, really blows my mind. But then if I have to describe, whenever I describe Bullet, whenever someone asks me to describe Bullet to them, I say it is a catchy song about suicide. And people look at me like, did you just say it's a catchy song about suicide? I'm like, it's not glorifying suicide, like, by far. At least I really hope it's not glorifying suicide. But, like, it is, like, suicide is a really, like, taboo subject. And I feel like Hollywood Undead took, like, a taboo subject and they kind of injected, like, a little bit of, like, energy and life into it and made it more acceptable, especially when they play it live. The audience just sing along word for word. Bullet is, again, along with Everywhere I Go, I would say Bullet is probably another staple Hollywood Undead song that everyone has to listen to. Some love it, some hate it. As long as they keep it on the set list, I'm happy it made my number 1. In the comments below, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on my updated top 10 Hollywood Undead songs 2021 compared to the songs I had in 2016. Also in the comments, I'd love to know your guys' favourite Hollywood Undead songs. You can tell me your favourite albums, you can tell me your favourite EPs. You know, let's just start a Hollywood Undead conversation, because Hollywood Undead are bays and I will continue to support them no matter what they put out. I am just hoping that the next album is better than Volume 1 and Volume 2 combined, because Hollywood Undead, I love you. Just don't put out a third bad album, because I might just have to go back and listen to your back catalogue. Yeah. Let's just wrap up this video before I get hate for not liking some of their newest stuff. If you want to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified of when I upload on this channel. At the end of this video, you can check out my last 2 videos or playlist, depending on what mood I'm in when I'm editing this. Until next time, I am Beth. Keep listening to good music. Hollywood Undead make great music. Goodbye.